Your blood sugar test came back normal. Your doctor said everything looks fine, but you're exhausted after meals. You carry weight around your midsection that won't move no matter what you do. Your energy crashes in the afternoon like clockwork, and you're constantly craving something: sugar, carbs, anything, even when you just ate. Here's what most people don't know. Normal blood sugar on a standard test doesn't mean your metabolic system is working properly. It means your body is still compensating. And compensation has a price. The moment it stops working, everything changes. The condition affecting more people than almost any other in America right now has no obvious symptoms in its early stages. No pain. No dramatic warning signs. Just a slow, invisible shift in how your cells respond to one of the most important hormones in your body. It's called insulin resistance. And according to an analysis of NHANES data, the largest nutritional health survey in the United States, 40% of American adults between the ages of 18 and 44 are already insulin resistant based on standard metabolic measurements. 4 in 10 adults. Most of them have no idea. Here's what's happening at the cellular level. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin, a hormone whose job is to unlock your cells so glucose can enter and be used for energy. When cells are insulin sensitive, this works smoothly. Blood sugar normalizes quickly. Energy is stable. Fat is metabolized efficiently. When cells become insulin resistant, they stop responding to the signal. The pancreas compensates by producing more insulin. Insulin resistance impairs glucose disposal, resulting in a compensatory increase in beta cell insulin production and hyperinsulinemia. And this hyperinsulinemia itself becomes a driver of further insulin resistance. A cycle, feeding itself. And while that cycle runs, blood sugar on a standard test may still look normal, because the pancreas is working overtime to keep it there. But here's what's happening in the background. The metabolic consequences accumulate silently. Hyperglycemia, elevated inflammatory markers, endothelial dysfunction, dyslipidemia. And the research shows something even more concerning. Insulin resistance is thought to precede the development of type 2 diabetes by 10 to 15 years, a decade and a half of silent progression. While standard tests show normal. Now here's why this conversation is especially important for people in their 40s and 50s. The prevalence of insulin resistance is particularly high in older adults, associated with increased central obesity and visceral fat accumulation that occurs with aging. Older subjects show measurably reduced insulin-stimulated muscle glucose metabolism compared to younger subjects, alongside approximately a 40% reduction in mitochondrial oxidative and phosphorylation activity. Read that again, a 40% reduction in mitochondrial efficiency. This is why energy feels different after 40, why recovery takes longer, why the same diet that worked at 30 produces different results at 50. It's not willpower. It's not discipline. It's mitochondrial function declining, and insulin sensitivity declining with it. And the inflammatory component compounds everything. Insulin resistance is frequently linked to a pro-inflammatory state. Elevated levels of inflammatory cytokines like TNF-A and interleukins, which further compromise the functionality of insulin receptors, disrupting the signaling pathways that regulate glucose uptake by cells. Inflammation worsens insulin resistance. Insulin resistance drives more inflammation. Another cycle, running simultaneously with the first. And this is where most conventional approaches completely miss the point. They focus on blood sugar numbers, but the real problem is the cellular machinery behind those numbers. The system isn't broken because of bad numbers. The numbers are bad because the system is under a burden it wasn't designed to handle alone. So what does the science say about supporting this system? The compound with the deepest and most consistent research base for metabolic support is berberine. An umbrella meta-analysis published in Clinical Therapeutics, analyzing multiple randomized controlled trials, found that berberine supplementation was effective in measurably reducing fasting blood glucose, HbA1c, insulin levels, and the HOMA-IR score, the primary measure of insulin resistance. Berberine exerts its effects through the activation of AMP-activated protein kinase, enhancing glucose uptake in peripheral tissues, promoting lipid metabolism, and reducing reactive oxygen species production that contributes to hyperglycemia. In plain language, it activates the same metabolic pathway that exercise activates, at the cellular level. The second key compound is cinnamon. Research has consistently shown cinnamon's role in improving insulin sensitivity, specifically its ability to enhance the post-receptor signaling that allows glucose to enter cells more effectively, the same pathway that becomes blunted in insulin resistance. The third is alpha-lipoic acid, a mitochondrial antioxidant that works on the oxidative stress component driving insulin resistance. It supports glucose uptake in muscle tissue and has been studied for its role in reducing the inflammatory burden on metabolic cells. And then there's curcumin, specifically with bioperin for absorption, with documented effects on inflammatory markers, including TNF-A and CRP, the same cytokines that research shows directly compromise insulin receptor function. 4 different mechanisms, all targeting the same underlying system from different angles, not masking the numbers, supporting the machinery that produces them. A normal blood sugar test is not a clean bill of metabolic health. It's a snapshot, taken at a moment when your pancreas may still be compensating. The research shows the window between compensating and no longer compensating can span more than a decade. And during that decade, the system that controls your energy, your weight, your inflammation, and your long-term metabolic health is under steady, silent pressure. What you do during that window matters. If you want to look at a formulation built specifically around the metabolic support compounds we discussed today, berberine, cinnamon, alpha-lipoic acid, curcumin with bioperin, and more, the link is in the description. Subscribe. Because metabolic health is the foundation of everything else, and most people don't start paying attention until the foundation is already cracking.